Hi guys, I wanted to answer these Enneagram questions really quick and give you some homework for those who are asking, Brett and Rebecca and Michelle. Okay, so question one, what is your type? So here's the deal. You guys know that I've been studying it for about 5 years, and when I say study it, here's what I mean. Like once a month or every other week, I listen to a podcast. I get those Enneagram dailies. I just kind of stay in touch with the teachings. The biggest takeaway that I really want you guys to hear is that you're not in one type and nobody else can type you. And when I say you're not in one type, I mean, as your life evolves, you can learn why you're in one type. You can learn about your personality from that type. And it's very important to study all the types. And that's why I say, a lot of the podcasts that are listed, and there's that new one that I put the link to in the notes that I want you to go back to, is that a lot of times you only listen to your type and then you don't really get the whole sense of what's underneath it and what the other types are. It's a relational tool. So this is supposed to really help you, a spiritual relational tool, help you be able to see the world through other lenses, through other eyes, to get beyond yourself. And you do that by studying yourself and others, okay? So what is my type is almost irrelevant. It sort of doesn't matter to you guys. The most important thing for you to do is to listen to the panels. That's why I like this panel one, and start to see what are the areas that are like me, what are the areas that are not. I have a worksheet that we got at the training that gives some good questions. I'm happy to take pictures of it and post it into Mighty so you guys can start to think about what areas of type 1 are like me, what areas of type 1 are not like me. And that's actually a really great way to do it, is to kind of go through each type. Say I'm going to study one type a week or one every other week or one a month, and just learn the qualities of that type and see yourself in it. So over the past 5 years, I've really evolved. It hasn't changed. I just think my understanding of Enneagram and my understanding of myself is getting deeper, and that's why the type is changing. Although it was always the same type, the core of who I am is still the core, but as other things fade away, I don't have as much of a link to those other types as my primary mode of operation, but I still have a lot of those other types in me, just like Ayurveda, all of these things. We're not trying to put anybody in a box and say you only are this. We're trying to say here are some habits and patterns of personality that can be helping you or hurting you, what's underneath it. So the second question was, what type did you think you were? Again, I sort of I'm happy to share that originally I thought I was a 3 when I started 5 years ago. A lot of the achiever tendencies were coming out, or that was clear. Then as that kind of faded away, as I did more of this simplifying work and values work in my own life and letting go of the studio, then it became clear that it was a 2-7. There was one point across, and now as we're kind of evolving, as I'm kind of noticing more, really what feels free in my heart now is owning the 4 qualities. And really, I'm just practicing the identity of a 4, because there's so much about authenticity, there's so much about self-awareness, there's so much about emotional holding and space and not being afraid of emotions, and that's really who I am and always have been, always been able to hold powerful emotional space for other people. So again, that's just my story, but that's the way that I see the lens because of my studying, because of my listening to 4s at this stage of my life and saying, wow, I really do see this pattern in how I work. Authenticity is a huge part of 4, and that to me, as most of you guys know, I can't follow, read, promote, or listen to anyone who's not being authentic. And so it's really narrowing my world in a lot of ways. So those are a little bit about my types. How'd you decipher and discover your new type? I just kept studying. I just kept looking at the books. And it's not a lot and it's not intense. It's just over time. And it's also understanding that this structure and system is just gonna help me more with my patterns and relationships and strengths, and seeing how they play out in the world. What surprised you most about learning your new type? Nothing. It just feels like home. So learning new type or digging deeper, it's not really a new type. It's the essential type. It's the highest self. Like my highest self has always been a 4. It's just there were so many other pieces that were in the way of that because of society, because of our family structure. I've shared so much about that in my own life, like why those other personalities had to develop really strong and hold on was really for survival, especially that 3. And then I realized the 2 and service is such a part of people pleasing because being in service over and over is really people pleasing, and I'm actually not that person anymore. Like I don't run around trying to help everybody else. I've really got that into a healthy state. So that's the other piece I would say. As you're exploring and you're looking at the healthy and the unhealthy, or the balanced and the not balanced, the more that you get into the healthy realm, the more your true nature, the more your real personality type has a place to live and be free. So that's the other thing is I lived in an unhealthy 2 because of proving and striving and people pleasing. But now that I don't do that, my sort of authentic 4 gets to just really shine. And I get to really discover, like, what do I want to do with this capacity to hold big emotions, to this capacity to sit with people in trauma, to be able to hold space, to be able to love them, to be able to move through it. And that's kind of the next phase. And it just feels really freeing. It just feels like home. So homework for you guys, go to the Panels Enneagram podcast, which is on the link. And I want you to just start from the beginning, listen to 1 episode a week, start to listen to the types, talk about how they are, how they operate. Then give me some feedback. What are you guys noticing? I don't want this to be about me. I don't want you guys listening to this and thinking you don't have access to it. I want to start hearing from you. What are your thoughts about it? What are you noticing in your own life? How is your type showing up and helping you, or how is it hurting you? So I really want to put this back on you guys to do your work and to share with me so that we can have a conversation around what you're noticing. Okay, good luck. Bye.